This is the first run of T4 Andariel, and her mythic drop rate is double of the other ladder bosses. Does the first run drop any mythic uniques? No. Good thing we have dolls and shackles for 99 more runs. On run 4, we find a 2-star Tybalt's Will. Also, a 1-star Tybalt's Will. Also, a 1-star X-Foul Ring. On run 6, we find a 2-star Godslayer Crown. Also, a 1-star X-Foul Ring. On run 7, we find a 2-star X-Foul Ring. Also, a 1-star Flicker Step. On run 11, we find 2 1-star Quarterstaffs. Is there a Rod of Kepalik? Not an upgrade. Also, not an upgrade. Also, a 1-star Godslayer Crown. Also, an Eom Rune. On run 12, we find a 2-star Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? No. Also, a 1-star X-Foul Ring. Also, a 1-star Soulbrand. On run 14, we find a 1-star Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? Not an upgrade. Also, an Eom Rune. On run 16, we find a 1-star Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? Not an upgrade. Also, an X-Foul Ring. On run 25, we find a 1-star X-Foul Ring. Also, an Ohm Rune. On run 28, we find a 1-star Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? Not an upgrade. On run 30, we find a mythic unique amulet. Oh! A melted heart. A melted heart, baby! Also, a 1-star X-Foul Ring. On run 32, we find a mythic unique Glaive. Ho! A Nesakim the Herald. Yes! Baby! On run 34, we find a 1-star Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? Not an upgrade. On run 43, we find an Ohm Rune. On run 44, we find a mythic unique helm. Oh! An Heir of Perdition. Yes! On run 45, we find a 1-star Godslayer Crown. Also, a 1-star Tybalt's. Also, a Zan Rune. On run 46, we find a 1-star unique Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? No. On run 47, we find a mythic unique helmet. Ho ho ho! And Andariels. Yes! On run 49, we find a 1-star unique Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? Not an upgrade. Also, a 1-star Godslayer Crown. On run 50, we find a 2-star Tybalt. On run 53, we find a Lith rune. On run 60, we find a 2-star unique Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? Not an upgrade. I would have used the Rod if the greater affix was not on velocity. Also, no. On run 70, we find a 2-star Tybalt. On run 71, we find a 1-star unique Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? Not an upgrade. Also, a 1-star godslayer crown. On run 81, we find a Zal rune. On run 83, we find a 1-star unique Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? Not an upgrade. Also, a back rune. On run 92, we find a 1-star unique Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? Not an upgrade. Also, a 1-star Flicker Step. On run 96, we find a 1-star unique Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? No. Also, a 1-star Soulbrand. Also, a Jaw rune. On run 99, we find a 1-star unique Quarterstaff. Is it a Rod of Kepalik? No. Also, a Yam rune. On run 100, we find nothing. And that's it. We ended up with 4 Mythic Uniques, baby!